One of the many fun variations you can do with chain stitch is to take a different thread and whip that thread through the chain stitches. And here I've done it in a special pattern. I call this the Chevron variation on the whipping of the chain stitches. So here I have made a line of chain stitch, and we also have a video on chain stitching if you want to review how to make the chain stitch. So I've come up at one end of the chain, and I have a tapestry needle because the end is softer, rounder, it won't catch as easily as I go through each of the chains. So that's all I'm doing right now. I'm going right-handed, so I'm just going to stitch through the chain. That way, I could just as easily do this left-handed and stitch through from the left to the right. It doesn't make any difference because we're going to stitch both directions. So I'm going just to keep whipping through. Notice I'm not going underneath the fabric. And of course, this would make a different effect if I had made smaller chain stitches, because then you wouldn't see as much of the open space. So you can play around with different ways you like to do this. If you want to pull this thread that I'm whipping through tighter, you can even just use all one color thread and just beef up your chain stitching if you want to do that. There are other stitches you can use to do that. So at this point, when I finish this whipping on the right side, I can just sink my thread down to the back and knot it off. So let's take a look at what it looks like after I have done that. This is where I did what I just showed you. Now I can come through. Of course, I can continue whipping with my right hand. I'm just going to show it left-handed for the lefties out there that are watching. So I could do either side either way, but now I'm just starting again at the bottom. So I didn't turn around and start back down from the top. I just knotted my thread off. And you can see the second side. You've got to pay a little bit of attention as you're doing it. But see how this is just making a nice little chevron-y look. I think it's a really pretty effect. It gives kind of like a multicolored braid. It has sort of a nostalgic look to me somehow. Looks like something that should be decorating a little Christmas scene. And that's all there is to it. I would just knot this off again at the back. And here I've used it in this example I showed where I've just used it kind of to separate the space. But you can use it any place that you have a chain stitch where you want to have just a little bit more interest and introduce another color. It's very quick, fun to do.